Well, summertime's here and it's time for a well-earned rest. And there's no better way than having a rest than having a sausage. And everyone loves a sausage. As you can see in the background, I've been cracking on with the Rally Mini. Unfortunately, I haven't been producing a lot of content lately, and that's mainly because what I've been doing are little bits here and there. Here we go. Look at my workbench. Look, projects everywhere. Passenger footrest, seat mounts, seats, bonnet. Yeah, there's a story about the bonnet. Windscreens in. And that is the subject of today's video, glass. Now, it's surprising, the rules and regulations with regards glass on rally cars. So you've seen the video of the back window. That's a toughened heated windscreen, so that's just normal. Now the rear quarter lights, I opted to go for perspex or lexan. It has to be a minimum of 4 mil thick. And I went on a bit of an adventure with that.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
The problem that I have is the same problem that the mini racing guys in the 60s had, but by the time you put the roll cage in and the seats in, you cannot access the back seat. So they dived in through the window. What they did, because they had piano hinge is on the windows, which I'm going to have to retrofit to these, they could just put an R clip. They take this bit out, and they put an R clip in there. They whip out the R clip, and because this was hinged over there, you can open up windows all the way, dive in, do whatever you had to do, put it back, put the R clip in, and shut it. Now that's hard to do at the best of times, and I'm sure in the 60s the roll cage wasn't. They only had like a what do they call them? A 3-point roll cage in the back anyway, and their bucket seats weren't like modern seats. So there's absolutely going to be no chance of me doing that. So how am I going to open that window? Now I came up with a cunning plan, a bit elaborate, and it's involved these. Woo, look at them. So these are the fuel filler cap opening mechanisms of an MX-5. So thank you, Dean, for these. I appreciate that. They've got like a little trigger on them, look. But the whole idea is that a cable goes in there. You pull the cable, it opens the pin. And my original plan was to somehow have these rigged up, whether it be like that, I don't know, like that. I was going to, make something up. The other option, which they came up with, which is exactly what they did on the 6R4, is basically have a bonnet pin in the window. So just fab up a bracket that comes out here. So there's the bonnet pin goes there. Because this is plastic, I can drill and doodah it. Don't know. 2 options, look. Let me know your thoughts. I have redesigned my bracket that I'm going to use to hold my rear window on. It's quite complicated actually, trying to reproduce something that's not going to get in the way of the window rubbers but also be strong enough to not fall off. Anyway, so this is the design I've come up with.
Soon after.
Getting there. From paper, almost there. I've got to put this rib, I've got to produce on the other side. Should be alright, shouldn't it? Okay, hashtag just a prototype. I can do this one-handed. No, I can't. I hold this. Alright. Ha-ha. So if you saw any of that theory about measure twice, cut once, well, maybe you should plan ahead multiple times and then fabricate once, because Dean, you're right, this is a bit too bulky. Here we go. So the tyre will fit in the back seat, no problem at all, with the piano hinges and the safety device cage in, but there's no room for anything. I can't really have the catch down there. I probably could have the catch up there, but that would look a bit rubbish. And to be honest, there's probably not enough room for the fancy MX5 catch that I was thinking of. I might just, maybe that's the reason the old rally guys just used an R-clip. Anyway, I'm not saying that was a waste of time, but it was a waste of time. That's the issue. It's quite easy to do, but it's can I get my hand down there? Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best. So this is the polycarbonate that I'm going to fit into the rear quarters of the Mini. I've got these off a mate of mine, which is great. I've got one that's got protection on it and two that haven't, but they are for a Mark III, so they're slightly bigger and obviously just for fitting with rubber. Now what I want to do though is fit them inside my Mark II frames like I did with this one. I replaced the glass in my Mark 1 many years ago when I used to use it for events with polycarbonate, but as you can see that's just not very clear anymore, and that just slotted in between here. But of course the Mark III frames, our window holes, are much bigger, so I need to trim them down. I've now fitted the perspex into the chrome frame, which is great, but I need to seal it somehow. So I'm thinking I'm going to go down the route of just like a silicone sealant, but I don't want it to get all over the perspex or lexan or whatever it is, and the chrome. So I need to start masking up, I think. Right, I'm making this up. It might not work.
Early the next morning.
Right, I'm going to put my helmet on to make it a little bit more realistic. So, if I go underneath, miles away, I'm not getting my hand in there. Oh, I'm so close. If I do that. Yeah. Should maybe. Okay, let's try it this way. Oh. I got it, I got it, I got it. Yeah, boy. Well, after all that, all I needed was an R-clip.
We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
So the rear quarter light windows, I opted to go for lexan or 4mm perspex. That's the regulation that it has to be if it is a plastic window. And I went down a bit of a rabbit hole with that. And I might have made a bad decision. The reason I feel that I made a bad decision, when I was looking at some old footage of my mates rallying, of course, when they come back into service and the car's all covered in mud, the service crew, one of their jobs is to clean all the windows, so at least we can see out. And as we all know, perspex scratches like a good one, doesn't it, when you try and clean it? So I'm on the lookout for some Mark 1, Mark 2 glass rear windows in a reasonable condition. They don't have to be piano hinges because I've come up with a second plan. If you know of any that's on the cheap, or you want to help support the team by donating some, just get in touch. Front windscreen. Before we put the front blip, I've had a few desperados. Front windscreen. Before we put the front windscreen in, we watched a YouTube video by Paul Hickey of Hickey Race Engineering. He made it look very, very easy. And in fact, when we followed his guidance, it genuinely was quite easy. So if you're ever going to fit your own windscreen, go and check out that video. Okay, only a short episode, I'm afraid, but I'm quite excited about the content that is coming. In particular, the fuel tank. Maybe that'll be the next one. Okay, enjoy your summer, and remember, everyone loves a sausage. German Bratwurst.